Hello, and I'm Dr. Cheryl, and welcome to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl. The theme of our show is raising the awareness and consciousness in the relationship with wealth and applying unconditional love. Always remember that your present situation is not your final destination. The best is yet to come by Zig Ziglar. For those of you who watch my show, thank you so much. The other day, I was in the Fairfax Hardware and Lumber Store when this man that worked there, bless his soul, had said to me, "I love your show." And I said, "You actually watch it?" I don't know how he recognized me because I had my visor on. When I asked him if he saw my show, if he actually watched it, he said, "Doesn't everybody?" I thanked him. That totally made my day. Thank you. Please wake up to what is going on in our community, our world, and it all starts within yourself and home. We must change the way our government, local and global, do business with bankers. The bankers and the billionaires are buying and controlling the issues of the people. Education, healthcare, and the air we breathe, and our food. Where is we the people anymore? Please don't feel overwhelmed by feeling you don't have any power. We must band together as a whole, as a democracy, to change the climate, financial, food travesties that are happening as I speak. Please take responsibility. If you don't vote, well, I'm saddened because you don't care enough to stand up for we the people. Our special guest this evening is Zara Babitzke with Nick, Mike, and Brian. Zara Babitzke, founder, executive director of Ambassadors of Hope and Opportunity, a nonprofit organization which provides hope and opportunity to Marin's homeless teens and young adults ages 16 to 25 without families or resources. Zara has been in social service in Marin for 25 years. She has an MA magna cum laude from SF State, received the Jefferson Award for Humanitarian Service in 2007 and the Hero of Marin Award in 2011 for her work with the underserved, marginalized, and forgotten population of young people in our community. Ambassadors of Hope and Opportunity, Marin's only nonprofit whose sole mission is providing a safety net of housing, support, jobs, legal aid, dentists, counseling, and leadership opportunities for homeless teens and young adults between age 16 and 25 throughout Marin families and resources. In 10 years, AHO has successfully assisted 1,150 homeless youth that are now working several jobs, going to college, and giving back to the help of AHO has provided for them to succeed and not become dependents of the system, chronically homeless adults, incarcerated, or worse. This is the first segment of a two-part discussion with Zara. Welcome, Zara. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, I've done an introduction already of you and your wonderful history and of AHO. So please, if there's anything that you would like to share, I know you've brought three wonderful, good-looking men here. And
I did. Aren't we lucky, Cheryl?
Yes, we are. And I feel like I'm in a sandwich here, and it feels really good. So is there anything that you would like to share before we get started?
I think I'd like you to get started with
the
young men
okay.
that I brought. It's really from their heart, soul, and experience that ambassadors exist. It's been a calling of my heart. I've been homeless myself, as I just heard you share that you had been as well.
Yes.
So this work is very real to me.
Yeah.
And I brought these young men and want them to have the experience of sharing their voice.
Yes.
And all of the challenges and inspirations
Yes.
that
Yes.
they've had along the way.
How did you start this? That's one question I wanted to ask.
Well, I had been hired by Sunny Hills Children's Garden to design the first program for youth leaving residential placement at age 18.
Yeah.
And that program was going well, first program ever for any youth in Marin County. And after about a year and a half, almost 2 years, the program was cut because of funding.
Yeah.
And I had that moment where the youth that I had been helping were trusting me and
Sure.
making progress. And I could walk away like others had done in their lives, parents in Quinn, Sunny Hills
Right.
program that I'd been hired to design for youth
Yes.
age 18 that were leaving placement when the funding for that program ended.
Yeah.
I had a choice of either doing something or not. And for me, I had no choice really. It became a calling that I just had to do something.
And that was
so that's
10
when
years ago?
10 years
Yeah.
ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I applaud you for doing this. I think it's a wonderful benefit. And I really hope that the community and the residents in Marin, because Marin, yes, is like the 5th most wealthy area in the U.S. or in the world, actually. So, it's like they need to be aware that there are kids that need help, and that's why I'm glad you're doing this. And this is why I wanted to have you on my show, or our show, because, they need to wake up that this is real, and not everybody has the luxury, But I think when you go through the challenges like these boys and like ourselves, it makes you a much deeper, wonderful person. And going through, you're much more compassionate and understanding, and when you get through it. So I think the residents need to know that out there in Marin. So thank you for what you're doing.
Well, and thank you for giving us this platform.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I think we'll start with Nick first. I have you on my list. This is Nick, and thank you, Nick, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Grateful for this.
I want you to feel real open about talking about anything. I don't want to step on any toes or anything.
No, I'll be honest.
And so you were homeless, right?
Yes.
And how did that happen? Or
When I was, I'd say like 18 or so, right when I got out of high school, I got addicted to drugs pretty bad, and that led me basically with my family and them not wanting anything to do with me at that period of my life, and the only kind of tough love, like, we have to kick you out in order for you to get better. So I was in between jails and trying to get back and forth. It was really dark and scary times, seriously.
Oh, I'm sure it was. You must have felt really alone.
Yeah, it was just a huge reality check, and I've always had empathy for the situation and always wanted to help people as much as I could. Like, for things I find important, this is extremely important,
Yeah. So how long were you involved initially, with AHO?
I've actually been involved, I'd say, has it been about pretty recent, like a half a year or a little more, but I have tons of friends who have been involved, and a lot of friends who are like musicians. I really like music and stuff like that a lot too, and I have a lot of friends who are on and who have got help through the program, including me. Like, even when times are good, I'm 23. I go through like financial struggles, stuff like that, and need to like get the bearings moving, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
Zara's really helped me and helped a ton of my friends, and it's a great program. And I'm sorry, what was it? First part of the
I
question.
understand that you play music. So what kind of music do you play? Or I should say, what instrument, or do you sing? What do you?
I play for a band called The Happies, and I songwrite. So I've been songwriting my whole life, and I take it really seriously. I really like it a lot, and it really helps therapeutically with like the issues of the world for me, depression, anger, whatever it is, to get it out. And I really like doing that a lot.
That's wonderful that you found that avenue.
Yeah, it's a gift and a blessing, though. Seriously, it really is.
Good.
Because
Oh, great. I understand that you're on the AHO Advisory Council. So what does that mean?
Well, that means that I help the council, and basically, like, we do a lot of events for the homeless, like all sorts of stuff. It's kind of hard to even know where to begin, but basically, I play like music for the events. We help recruit people to help youth on the street.
Yeah.
So we're not just like a charity, like we're trying to bring people to the street to help the kids, like, and be about it, you know?
Yeah.
And help, like, be there physically helping the kids, you know?
Yeah. One question is, how has AHO helped you?
It's helped in a lot of ways, not only knowing that I'm not alone when I'm going through struggles. Zara's just been, like, seriously so cool. Like, I don't even, it's seriously helped in a lot of ways. Basically, it acknowledges the fact that you're not alone in the world, and, like, we may be like a rich county, but we have such a huge drug problem, and like all over, and you know, like I have tons of friends as we speak right now who are homeless right now, or addicted, or gonna be homeless guaranteed. And what it does is provide hope, and it provides anything, you know, like sleeping bags, bus passes, whatever we need to like keep going when these times are tough. So crucial things.
Are these kids that are Marin kids?
These are kids, some of them that were straight A students that got in a fight with their parents, and they just kicked them out, and they have nowhere to live.
Oh, wow.
Just that easy, just like that. So it's
Parents need to wake up with this. You know, maybe they
It's
don't
true.
have the tools to deal with it.
It's true. Yeah, these are hard times. So it's a good thing that we have going here, and that's why it's so important. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are the biggest challenges for being homeless, a homeless youth?
Emotions, what you're gonna do next, food, shelter, water, peace of mind, like not going crazy from it, meaning like not, it's such a stressful situation. I was homeless briefly, but you know, I went through incarceration, all that stuff with drugs. So basically, if I hadn't have been there, I would have been totally homeless for a long time. It's been about like, let's say 4 or 5 years since I went through that, but granted, I don't even know where to begin. It's a horrible situation, you know. It's like it's one of those situations. There's like veterans who are hurt. There's kids who are homeless. There's kids addicted to drugs, and these are like our sisters, our brothers, our moms, our dads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it hits home with like a lot of people, and especially with the economy. If it's getting worse or whatever, it's a situation that's going to be more prevalent, and it's not a black and white thing in Marin County. It's a serious issue, and I have a lot of friends, like I said, dealing with it. You know, like kids are going to like gyms to shower, you know, they're doing drugs to stay warm at night, drinking. They're, you know, they're like having to steal food sometimes. I mean, there's food banks, but it's like, okay, what if I don't have gas? What if I was working the entire day, then went to sleep in my car and my legs, I can barely walk. I don't, you know what I mean? What if I smell bad? What are other people going to think about me when they see me sleeping in my car? It's just a debilitating thing.
Oh, it's horrible. It's really, really demeaning too, and this is why I wanted to have this on the show, because I think Marin adults need to wake up to this.
Yeah.
And you know, there's alternatives.
Yeah.
You know, and support it financially.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a real issue.
Yeah.
Even though we have wealth here, you know, but sometimes the wealth isn't in the head, you
Yeah.
know, the emotions.
Definitely.
And so they need to wake up out there.
Mhm.
But is there anything else that you'd like to share?
There was gonna be one more thing I was gonna say. Like, a lot of kids that get homeless, they tend to get like arrested or something like that, right? For being like homeless or whatever it is. And I just don't think, I don't.
Now, how can they get arrested for being
Well,
like,
basically,
hanging out in a place that's, you know, you
trespassing.
Can't live in?
I mean, I don't know
okay.
where to begin. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of things can happen, but basically, like, I don't know. It just leads to, when you're on the streets, you meet a lot of people maybe you wouldn't even want to meet per se too. You know what I mean?
Oh.
It just like kind of like
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to get
Perpetuates.
out of. Yeah, it's
Oh.
a vicious cycle, and
Right.
basically, this is a good program because it gets you out of like, you know, getting into the drinking or whatever it is. You know,
Yeah.
like being able to get help with whatever it is that you got going on, instead of like, kind of like when you're homeless, you can kind of get, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, you can get classified, you can get profiled, the cops can pull you over, just go through all your stuff. And like, to me, it's like a situation that needs a lot of empathy. We need to be helping these kids and supporting them rather than feeding the same vicious cycle that'll make things just worse and worse over time.
Yeah.
That's why this is
Yeah.
extremely important to me.
Well, you know, I really appreciate all of your courage for being on and coming and talking about it. Obviously, you've been able to heal enough to be able to come on here and talk about it.
Grateful for
So I
everyone
applaud,
here.
I
everyone
applaud
here.
you for that, and keep doing your music.
Thank you very much.
Because that
Oh,
is
yeah.
such a gift, you know, for you and the listeners.
Thank you very much.
So that's great. Well, let's see. I guess we can go with Brian. We have Brian here as our next guest. So Brian, let's see. Tell me how you met Zara.
Well, I met Zara just recently. Was been in contact for like the past 4 or 5 months, but just recently met with Zara in San Anselmo, and it was a good day. Able to discuss a lot of future goals, not only for the program but for myself, and kind of get you know, the pattern of goals established, and find out how I can help AHO and the ideas and help that I can provide through any means possible.
So how did you become homeless?
Well,
If you feel comfortable talking about it. You don't have to talk about it.
yeah. So I have quite a bit of experience with being homeless as a youth. It kind of started through family issues.
Yeah.
I came from a very small family, and so there wasn't a lot of you know, resources in that venue of life to help with things or even provide support.
Yeah.
So
Was that in San Anselmo area?
well, yes, I was born here in Marin County, and then I went to high school in Elk Grove. But yes, I kind of went back and forth between
okay.
homes, and it was a very
Elk,
rough.
Elk Grove's kind of a little ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's
yeah.
up by Sacramento, isn't it?
Correct.
Is it? Yeah.
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 So yeah, it made for a rough upbringing, and it just kind of set forth a future pattern that I, you know, ended up being homeless and being unemployed, and you know, so.
So how has AHO helped you?
Well, definitely in the employment section of things, able to recommend me places to turn applications in at. The AHO has experience with in the job field, which I know of and have quite a bit of experience, which is mechanical, and also just providing, you know, like someone to talk to as well about
Yeah,
these
that's
issues,
important.
because there's very few organizations, or no organization in general, other than AHO, as far as I'm concerned, that even has time to discuss youth homelessness, or even considers it.
Do you think that maybe there's a denial in Marin County? They just like don't want to admit that this is a real issue?
That would be quite accurate, I believe.
I mean, that is like one of the things that in this whole process, I think, wow, let's not be in denial. The economy, the way the world is going, it's serious. And
Yeah.
right here at home, it's in our backyard, our front yard, or whatever, but it's here.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so I guess you're involved with the job connection with AHO?
Yes. As far as employment goes, yes.
Yeah.
And I've attended a meeting that there's a lot of discussion about future employers coming to the Youth Connect, which I know quite a few of the homeless youth that I know have a very difficult time holding jobs or even making it to interviews just because of the homeless factor.
Oh, sure.
And as soon as
A lot of challenges in that.
as soon as the employer finds out that they're homeless, it's pretty much,
Forget deal.
you can write it off.
Yeah.
And,
Gosh. Yeah.
So that's definitely
So how do you get around that? I mean, how do the employers find out?
Well, I suppose, sometimes it's clearly obvious, if you're sleeping in a park at night or in open space or, wherever these homeless youth choose to sleep, sometimes they only get in 2 to 3 hours if you're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, this is the real deal when you're talking about this.
Yeah, and,
And where do you go to get cleaned up?
Right, exactly. Then you face that factor and got to eat breakfast and, printing out resumes. After all that isn't too easy.
No, and just the bare necessities are a challenge, period.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow. I mean, this shouldn't be happening today. Should not be happening, especially in this county. Shame on people, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of covered the next question I had was dealing with the day-to-day homelessness. I mean, do you believe in God? Do you pray about it? How do you cope? How do you cope emotionally when you're in that position?
Right. Well, just as Nick plays music, everybody has their own ways to go about the same problem, and finding a spiritual point that you can just kind of relax and just take one thing at a time, take one obstacle as it comes at you, and staying busy, going to school and working, if you're able to do it while going to school, 2 or 3 jobs.
Sure.
That would definitely provide, the essentials, and not only that, but keep you busy so you're not, walking around, and getting hassled or putting yourself in an unsafe position.
Right, or getting depressed.
Right.
I suppose that fighting depression would be kind of difficult too, because it takes a lot of inner strength to be able to feel good when you're in that position. I know. Yeah. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there anything else that you'd like to share before we move on to the next?
Well, I think that there needs to be more education provided to the community about what the young youth homeless population experiences, and that it's not always a choice that they make. It's at that young of an age, you're so prone to not having the power, so-called power,
or the tools,
exactly, to make a better life for yourself, essentially.
So how do you vision that as far as making it aware to the residents in Marin? How do you see that?
Well, I think just as this TV program here, I think that through AHO organizations, like Ritter Center as well.
Oh yeah, sure.
And St. Vincent de Paul's, and through those venues, I think that people will start to recognize these issues,
Yeah.
and actually consider that, after it's opened their eyes, that there really is a problem,
Yeah.
and that they need to, see it and not just, let it go by them
Well,
in a
one
day.
thing I was thinking is,
So-
do they have posters? Do you have posters that could be posted around Marin County that would advocate to help the youth that are homeless?
I think that's a great idea, Cheryl.
It just
And
came to me.
And we can all take it to our youth task force team, which
Yeah.
are youth that we've helped, and then other youth in the community that have friends in this situation, or they're socially conscious at a young age
Right.
and care.
Wow.
And they've been meeting for about 7 years to design youth-led projects that bring more awareness and funding
Yeah.
to this issue. And I think that's a great idea to bring to that group and see how they want to
Yeah.
get the word out a little more, because right now 2 of our youth are coming tomorrow to the county's 10-year plan to end homelessness.
There's always hope.
There is.
Always hope.
There
Can't
is.
give up hope. Faith and hope. Definitely. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for sharing. I'll leave you with this. Self-discipline is a form of freedom. Freedom from laziness and lethargy. Freedom from the expectations and demands of others. Freedom from weakness and fear and doubt. By H.A. Dorfman, American Mental Skills Coach. And be grateful for your freedom and eat healthy. Good nutrition feeds the mind and your body temple. Don't forget to exercise. Feed your spirituality with meditation and prayer. Thank God. Love yourself unconditionally. Stop criticizing, stop judging, and allowing others to dominate the way you feel and think about yourself. Be compassionate and share your abundance and wealth with others. When fear knocks, let faith answer the door. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life. By Henry David Thoreau. Thank you for Marin TV for facilitating our show, and especially to my crew. I can't thank my crew enough. Brad, Eric, Jack, and Mary. Thank you. Please support and become a member of Marin TV. Bye for now. Until next time.